I want you to think about the physical presence of Takbiratul Ihram. Scholars mention two things. For one, when you do this, it's like you're throwing away everything behind you. But they also say that pointing the hands is ta'zeem, is glorifying the one that's in front of you.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
The first position of Salah is not ruku'. The first position of Salah is qiyam. We often skip through that. But if you're thinking about this as a coherent process, everyone stands up, right? In the presence of the King. What then of the King of all kings? And this too mirrors the Day of Judgment. Because just like on Yawm al-Qiyamah, everyone will be in Qiyam, everyone will be standing, to the point, يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا لَا يَتَكَلَّمُونَ. Jibreel alayhi salam and the angels will line up in rows and no one will speak. Likewise, when you enter into the Salah, everyone stands before the King of all kings and they are oriented towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as His humble servants in anticipation of whatever it is that He's going to give to them and ready to enter into that loving conversation with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you had the wudu to reorient your body. You had the adhan to reorient your thoughts and to reorient your heart towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now you find yourself coming to Allah Azza wa Jal. I want to make a small point here in regards to the masjid. The masjid is the place to be. There is no comparison between the salah in the masjid and the salah outside of the masjid. The reward is immediately multiplied. And just think of it like the difference between a call and a visit. The difference between a letter and presence. And the front rows are the best rows, meaning the eagerness of those who come first to the masjid, right? That there's no comparison between the one who comes with that loving obedience and devotion. And that's why the angels who were making dua for that person as they were sitting waiting for the iqamah, they continue, يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى الصَّفِّ الْأَوَّلِ. They continue to send their praises upon the first row, even as the prayer has commenced and is continuing. They keep on sending their salawat. They love these servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, the idea is not the physical presence of the first row. The idea is the eagerness, the pace at which you met the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and came to that place. You enter into your salah, you're in qiyam. You've arrived in the presence of the King of Kings. And then you do what's called takbiratul ihram. Makes a lot of sense when you think about Hajj. Ihram. Takbiratul ihram. You lift your hands, Allahu Akbar. And when you lift your hands and you say Allahu Akbar, you are entering into a state of ihram. What is the state of ihram? It's a state that makes certain things that were halal, now haram. Certain things that were permissible, now prohibited. Again, in the Hajj or the Umrah, it's very obvious what's happening. That there are certain things you can't do now that you've entered into the state of ihram. The salah is no different in that دَخَلَ فِي حُرْمَةِ الصَّلَاةِ. You've entered into the sanctuary of your prayer. فَأَصْبَحَ مَا كَانَ حَلَالًا لَهُ قَبْلَ الصَّلَاةِ حَرَامًا عَلَيْهِ. So what was halal for him before the salah is now haram for him. So you've entered into a state of ihram. And remember Hatim al-Asam? I want you to imagine that you've entered into the haram itself. And you're looking at the Kaaba. Every time you enter into that prayer, you turn yourself fully towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You've already directed your heart towards Him. You're facing the Qibla. Your body is facing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And freeing itself from the disobedience of Allah, even the hands. I want you to think about the physical presence of Takbiratul Ihram. Scholars mention two things. For one, when you do this, it's like you're throwing away everything behind you. Right? So everything behind you is gone. All of the distractions, all of the desires, all of the disobediences, all of the worries, all of the concerns. But they also say that pointing the hands is ta'zeem, is glorifying the one that's in front of you. So you're doing two things at once. You are raising your hands, glorifying the one that is in front of you, and you are throwing away everything else that is behind you.